Hey there, youth workers. Paul Turner here from the discipleproject.net. Glad to be with you today. This is the fifth and final in my series of the 5 misconceptions of youth pastors and how to overcome them. And today we're going to be talking about when people come to you, the misconception is that you are not a real pastor, because they'll say to you, so when are you going to become a real pastor? Or when are you going to become a senior pastor? And today we want to talk about that because sometimes it can, make us feel less than. It can make us feel like we're not really there, even though our calling and our pastoring is pastoring, right? I mean, everything a senior pastor does, we do, but we do it for teenagers. But before we get into that today, I want to talk to you guys about an opportunity for coaching. If you've not thought about coaching for the upcoming year, it's the date we're starting is coming up fast, and I do not want you to miss it. So let me tell you a little bit about the ministry-minded coaching and how you can get involved. Ministry-minded coaching is all about helping you become the best youth worker you can become. We do that through conversations, through strategies, to help you work in the local church. Now, who is this for? It's for youth workers who want to build a successful youth ministry. Where is it happening? It's online every 2 weeks starting January 21, 2020. And why? Because your students deserve to have the best youth worker possible. I have 4 seats available for the 2020 session, so if you are interested, there's a link down in the description below. Would love for you to have you check that out and see if coaching might be for you in 2020. So why is there a perception that being a youth pastor is not being a real pastor? I've always wondered that because, like I said, the roles are similar, right, to everybody else on staff, to your senior pastor or lead pastor. I mean, you talk to people, you preach, you counsel, you do hospital visits, you do visitation, you do all the basic roles that a senior pastor does, but for teenagers. So why is there a perception that youth workers are not real pastors? The first reason I think that people have a perception that youth workers are not real pastors is because there's, I think, a lack of professionalism. So if you have people in your church who are looking at you and have a perception that you're not, on some same level or have the same skill set or whatever that may be, I would say, look, treat your job as a professional. Be a professional in what you do. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean to be stuffy. It doesn't mean to be more than what you are. It's not build yourself up. It's not defending yourself. It's simply saying, look, I'm going to take my role here as a youth worker, as a youth pastor. I'm going to take my role here as a professional. It means that I care about this. It means I want to get good at it. It means I want to do it with excellence. If you haven't watched that video, there's a link right above there. Alistair Cook says it best when he says, a professional is someone who can do his best work when he doesn't feel like it. That means we're not complaining. It means we're not disgruntled all the time. It means that we're not talking about how much we don't like our job, which some youth workers can do, right? But so it's about saying, look, I'm a professional. It means I show up even when I don't want to. Another way of saying that is professionalism. It's not the job you do, it's how you do the job. It's not the fact that you do the same things that your pastor does, but you do it with, like I said earlier, excellence. You do it with caring about the, for lack of a better term, the product that you're turning out, that you care about the outcomes, and you care about other people in the process of what you're doing. Another way you can shed the perception that somehow you're not a real pastor is be a lifelong learner. And what does that mean? It means in another way of saying it is saying, look, I'm not a know-it-all. It doesn't matter what your degree is. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing youth ministry. It doesn't matter what all your accolades are. What matters is that you're saying, look, I am a lifelong learner. There are new ways to learn things, because otherwise we become like other generations in some ways, where we've now gotten stuck in a certain mode and a certain method and a certain deal of doing things, and we're just older people in younger bodies, right? So I would encourage you to say, look, I'm going to be a lifelong learner. I'm going to be open. I'm not going to have to defend myself or my position. I'm going to listen to other people, and people will start to say, you know what? There's a certain wisdom here in this young man or young woman. They're different. They're not always having to argue or defend or anything like that, but they are truly lifelong learners of what they want to accomplish. I like the way the scriptures say it: a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. I would also say that being a man of knowledge or a woman of knowledge, or somebody who's open to receiving constructive criticism or to learn a new thing or learn a new way, that person has an advantage. That person has an advantage over others because you're open. You don't have to defend a position. You can say, look, I'm willing to listen to others share about maybe new ways of doing things. The third and final way of getting rid of that perception that somehow you're not a real pastor is to minister across generations. And that's everything from the nursery to the nursing home. Because if you're ministering across generations, you're saying, look, I care about the whole church, which is what the pastor does. He cares about the whole church, not just one particular ministry, not just one particular area. He's got to care about the whole church. So if you want to put yourself on par with that kind of position, you're going to have to minister to the nursery worker as well as visiting nursing homes and spreading yourself out. Now, I don't mean spreading yourself too thin. I mean calculating and saying, look, on this week, I'm going to focus on, ministering and blessing, the nursery worker, or doing something for them, or helping them out somehow. And then the next week saying, well, listen, I'm going to go do a nursing home visit. Maybe there's somebody there from our church that's there that maybe I can visit and show that I care about all the generations. I care about all the people in the church. And if you'll do that, people will start to see that that you really do care. You really are saying, look, I am not just a youth pastor. I am a pastor because I care about all the people in the church. I like Psalm 100. For the Lord is good, his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. You see, God hasn't become so dialed into one generation. I know we as the church like to focus on the next generation, but God's faithfulness is to all generations, to the old and to the young. And so if you would like to shed that perception that you're just a youth pastor, or when you become a real pastor, you start caring about all generations. You care about the youngest generation coming into the world and the oldest generation who someday will exit this world. And that is it for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you're brand spanking new here to the channel, thank you so much. I appreciate you being a part. If you're not part of the community yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Would love you to be a part. Love you to go over to the community section, leave comments, answer some of the polls that are over there, all that kind of good stuff. And if you're a regular, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your attention so much. We're so close, by the way, to 5,000 subscribers, and that is due to all of you watching videos, liking videos, making videos show up in people's screens there, all that kind of good stuff. I want to say thank you so much for doing that. Be sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to hit that little bell down there, which will then notify you when I upload a video or I go live. And if anyone hasn't told you lately, you're doing a great job. And if you're not doing a great job, well, just keep watching these videos and you're going to get better as you go along. So that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you so much. We'll catch you guys in the next video.